You're listening to The Financial Plan, brought to you by Vim Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor with the SEC. The content on this show is for educational and informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any securities. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. For guidance on your specific situation, consult a qualified financial professional.
All right, welcome back to The Financial Plan. My name is George Tijerino, and every week I answer the questions that are on your mind. Let's jump right into it. Marcus from Chicago says, I've got about $15,000 in a high-yield savings account just sitting there. I know I should invest it, but the market feels so volatile right now. Should I dump it all in at once or keep dripping it in bit by bit? I'm terrified of putting it all in on a Monday and then seeing a crash on a Tuesday. All right, so this is very, very common in my line of work and the way people think. It is possible that you do invest in on a Monday and we do have a crash on a Tuesday. That is completely possible, and it's happened before and it'll happen again. There are a couple of ways of doing it. Just so you know, the market always feels volatile. Right, that's not a bug. It's a feature of the market. So you could do something called dollar cost average. Right, that's something that we use a lot. It's DCA is what it's known, and it's where you invest a certain amount every X amount of time. For your situation, you don't want to spread it out too far because then it's gonna take too long. But let's say you do $2,500 every Monday or every Friday or however you want to do it. And every Friday you go in and you buy whatever it is that you're going to buy. Let's just say you want to buy the S&P 500. So every Friday you go in and you buy 2,500 of the S&P 500. Now what that's going to do is that it'll allow the average to take place. So when the market is very expensive, you'll buy a little bit less. And when the market is cheap, you'll buy a little bit more. I will warn you, though, if we are in an uptrend, you are going to miss some of that uptrend. But if we are in a downtrend, it is going to work towards your favor. It is just a way of kind of normalizing the ride of the market. I typically only do this if a client asks for it or if I feel that that kind of hesitancy of going in. I'll do this. For the most part, for something like $15,000, I would just go ahead and buy it and be done with it. Now, I will say, you mentioned you have $15,000 in high yield savings. Just make sure that you're not putting everything you have in the market, everything you have saved in the market. Make sure you keep a little bit outside just in case for a rainy day, or in case we do have a market downturn, you do have some assets outside to touch in case of an emergency. Second question here comes from Sarah. My husband and I are both 32. We're finally debt-free, but we are debating, do we max out our Roth IRAs first, or should we put that extra money towards a bigger down payment on a house? We're feeling torn between the future us and the current us who really wants a backyard. Okay, so this is what I see all the time, and I don't understand the thought process here. It's not all or one. You don't have to only do one. You don't have to only do the other. I'm a firm believer of you should enjoy your life now and also plan for the future. If that backyard is very important to you now or it's something that you want, then that should be your priority. And everything else will work itself out. Or instead, let's say you have whatever, let's just use $100 for this example. Save $70 for the backyard and $30 for the IRA. It doesn't have to be all or one. You can do both, and you have to prioritize whatever it is that's important to you. I know a lot of these like financial influencers or whatever, and I guess I'm one of those now. But it's like this constant like, save every penny you have, don't get that latte or whatever. And it's stupid. It makes no sense. Like, are you going to like hate your life all day long to save every penny just so that you can maybe retire, in the future? You have no idea what the future holds, and you do have to enjoy your life now as well. So I'm a firm believer, enjoy your life right now and also save for the future. Don't do anything stupid either. But you're looking to buy a house. It's not a terrible investment either. It's not like you're trying to buy a Lamborghini or whatever. So I think you can do both. If the backyard is really important to you, put some extra money towards that and put the rest in the IRA, and you're going to be perfectly fine. All right, David from Seattle. My parents are getting older and they've always been private about money. I suspect they haven't saved enough for retirement. I'm starting to panic that I'm going to support them while trying to raise my own kids. How do I have the money talk with them without being incredibly awkward or insulting? Yeah, this is tough, right? There's no easy way to do this. There's no right way to do this. I would use a professional in this regard. And by that, I would mean either a financial advisor like myself, an attorney, something like that. And I would just put it in a way where you're telling them, hey, I was talking to my financial advisor about, longevity risk or whatever. You can frame it however you want. Obviously, you're going to know your parents more than I do. So however you think is going to work best, and let them know that we were talking about this and it, got you thinking, hey, what are mom and dad doing for this? And that could open the door. If they don't have a financial advisor, maybe your financial advisor can reach out to them or schedule an appointment with them to go over it. Maybe they're more comfortable speaking to a third party than you. Maybe they're embarrassed that they didn't save enough. Maybe they think they haven't saved enough when they actually have. That happens all the time. I don't think I've ever met a client that says, oh, I'm good. I can retire. I've never met them. Whether they have $10 to their name or $10 million to their name, it's the same thing. I'm never going to be able to retire. I don't have enough money, so on and so forth. So it could be that they're embarrassed because they think they can't retire and they actually can. So I would reach out to your financial advisor if you want to schedule an appointment with me, that'd be great as well. And let somebody else do this conversation. Unless you know what you're talking about, it might come off as awkward. It might, most people in my profession know how to have these conversations where you're not being insulting, where you're not, what to ask for, and you can pick up on cues really easily. So I think that's going to be your best bet. Get a professional involved and let them handle it. Next question comes from Jasmine. I keep hearing that I should be investing in myself to increase my income. I have a decent job, but I'm considering a $10,000 certification program. Is it actually worth it, or is it just marketing line people use to sell courses? How do I calculate the ROI on my own brain? Wow, this is a tough one. The answer is maybe. I don't know. It really depends on the line of work you're in. We are in a very, very precarious time with the economy and jobs and just pretty much everything with AI. We're in this time where it really depends on how you feel about it, where everyone's going to be out of a job in 5 years, which I don't agree with. I think that's stupid. Or, whatever. I think no matter what, it depends on what the certificate program is. I think everyone, no matter what you do, you need to learn AI. It is the most important thing for you to learn. I do not believe that AI is going to take your job. I do 100% believe that a person that knows how to use AI is going to take your job. That is a guarantee 100%. So I think you need to go out and learn AI. It is the most important skill that you can learn right now and become proficient at it. Use it all the time. Go and use, I'm not a big ChatGPT fan, but you can use ChatGPT. That's the one that most people use. Use Gemini, use Claude is the one that I use the most. Go and use those things. That is the most important skill you can have. Take those $10,000, put them in your pocket, go on YouTube, learn it. I think that's the most important thing. Now, I will say, if your line of work, if you're a doctor or a lawyer or something where like these certificates are required to do a certain job, if you're in the IT field, I know that there's a lot of certificates that that help in that way, that's a whole different line of work. And you can pretty much easily calculate the ROI on that. But if this is just more learning, I think learning the skill of AI is way more important than anything else you can learn at the moment. Next question is Tom. I've been contributing to my 401k for 15 years, but I've never actually looked at the funds inside of it. I just picked a target date fund because it was the default. Am I leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by being lazy with a target date fund? The answer to that question is probably, right? I don't know the answer because I don't know what the different options are. So basically what a target date fund is it's taking your retirement date and figuring out how you should be invested based on that date. So it's just looking backwards, right? It's figuring out the math going backwards. Let's say your retirement is, 2060, right? Math is hard, whatever that is from now. It's going to figure out, okay, we're 40 years from retirement. You're still pretty young. We're going to be ultra aggressive, right? And then as you get closer to retirement, it automatically puts you in different buckets based on that retirement date. I think that's fine for most people. It's not the best way of doing it, but it definitely is the easiest way of doing it. Now, if you want to be a little bit more hands-on, if you have a financial advisor, that person should be looking at your 401k and making it. When I have my clients, I look at their portfolio as a whole. I'm not just looking at the account that I have. Maybe they have accounts with other financial advisors. I want to make sure that we're looking at it holistically, that's the term that everyone uses, holistically, that we're looking at all of it. And your 401k is an asset, it's part of your investment assets. So we have to make sure that that is looked at correctly. Me personally, the way I do with most clients is 401k is your aggressive assets. It is for the most part the thing you're going to touch the least, the thing that you have 40, 30, 20 years for it to grow. And that's where I'm going to go as aggressive as possible. So for me, I'd rather pick those aggressive funds myself than have, whoever it is that's picking it out there. So I do think while the target date is fine, there are much, much better options out there. So if you do want to do a little bit of research, I would recommend getting out of the target date funds. If you want to send some, the information over to me, I'll be more than happy to take a look and see if there might be something I can help you with. Next question comes from Rachel. I'm 24 and just landed my first real salary. My friends are all traveling and buying designer bags, but I'm trying to be responsible. How do I balance living my life now while still being smart about the future? I don't want to be the richest person in the nursing home who never did anything fun. Yeah, that's a huge risk. And believe me, I have seen it over and over and over again. The people that never enjoyed their lives, they have a ton of money sitting in the bank or sitting in their accounts, and now what? Now there's nothing to do. So I think it's very important to do both. I'm not the designer bag guy. I think I buy all my clothes on Walmart and Amazon. I see absolutely no value in it, but whatever, it is what it is. If it brings you joy, I can understand that. I think traveling is really important. It lets you open your eyes to different things. You grow as a person, which is very valuable, as long as you're not traveling to like Vegas to go get drunk all day. But that's okay. It's okay to do that as well. But again, I think you do need to do both. I don't know what real salary is. What your real salary is going to be, different than everyone else. You do need to do both. My recommendation right off the bat, if you have a real salary, I'm assuming it's with a decent employer, make sure you're maxing out your 401k. And by max out, I mean at least put in what they match. That should be everyone's bare minimum. Whatever they match, put in your 401k. That's an automated savings that gets done right off the bat. You're still 24. You're very young. Don't worry so much about, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, but start putting some money away. Get a decent figure that you can do every month. Don't tell yourself that you're going to save 60% of your salary, right? Like that's not reasonable. Give yourself a healthy goal, 10% of your salary, put that away on top of whatever it is you're putting away in your 401k. And you're going to be way ahead of most people. Let's stop pretending like you're going to save every penny. Most people are not going to do that. And it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We've gotten in this weird culture where like, oh, you got to save every dime, every penny. You can't save any, you can't spend anything. That's dumb. Nobody's going to do that. It's just a recipe for disaster. So just go ahead and make sure that you're saving in your 401k, save a little bit of money each month, and enjoy your life. I think that's the most important thing. Next question is from Kevin. Every time there's a big news story about a recession or the market dipping, my instinct is to sell everything and go to cash. I know that's wrong in theory, but it feels so right in practice. How do I stop my lizard brain from sabotaging my portfolio? Okay, so it's funny you mentioned this because I think this right here is the reason why people pay financial advisors. That is 100% of the time. I can probably help you outpace the market a little bit. I think if I can stop one client, or if I can stop my clients from selling one time a year, where the next recession is coming, I've already made my money, right? What happens all the time, and I've seen it over and over and over and over and over again, and I'll continue to see it, is you see this thing on the news, and spoiler alert, every other day on the news is going to be the next recession. That's just what's going to happen. It's always going to happen. They're always looking for the next recession, always looking for the next 2008, always looking for the next bubble, and blah, 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 blah. It's going to keep going on forever and ever. If you sell when the market is tanking, you will wait for the market to go up. So you're selling at I don't know if you've ever heard the buy low, sell high. Most people do the complete opposite, right? So they wait until the market comes down, they sell at cheaper prices, and then they wait, oh, the market has recovered, let me buy in again. And all you're doing is guaranteeing yourself losses. Do not do this. Just step away. As long as you're invested correctly, and by correctly, I mean in reputable companies and your portfolio isn't super concentrated and all that, you're going to be fine. Stop looking at your portfolio every day. Stop watching the news every day. It's really not, you're not going to miss anything. I believe me, you'll be fine. Just step away from the computer and you're going to be perfectly fine. If you really feel that, I would recommend hiring a financial advisor. This is what we're going to do when you call us to say, hey, I want to sell because the market, a good financial advisor will tell you, hey, you're going to be okay. You'll be fine. And you'll walk away. And if that happens, I guarantee you that money you're going to save from that up and down, that advisor just paid for his annual, whatever the annual fee is. So I think that's important. And if you really cannot stop yourself, which a lot of people can't, go ahead and get yourself a financial advisor and they'll hopefully help you. If you need someone, please reach out. Question of the day here comes from Maria. My partner and I are about to get married. We make very different salaries. I make double what he does. Should we combine our bank accounts entirely, or is it yours, mine, and ours method actually better for long-term marital bliss? Everyone I ask has different opinions. Okay. So this is not a financial question. This is a marriage question. And I'm going to give you my advice. I would just put everything together. Maybe I'm old school. I know I'm an elder millennial now. I'm a little old school, but I believe if you're going to get married to somebody, like your lives are melding together, and that's the way I look at it. This yours, mine, and ours situation where you have two different bank accounts, and then it just for me creates a lot more headache than it's worth. Me personally, the way that I do it is we have separate bank checking accounts that we get like a little stipend every month or week or whatever. And that's our spending money that we can spend with nobody's going to ask. We don't have access to it. So I don't even know what the money's being spent on for her. And she doesn't know what's being spent on for me, which is good because sometimes you want a little, frivolous spending that you don't want any heartache about. This yours, mine, and ours, yeah, it just becomes a little bit more cumbersome to me where you have to worry about the mortgage is due or your half of the electricity is due or whatever. It's just too cumbersome in my opinion. But if that's what both of you feel is right, I feel like the younger generation is a little bit more keen to this. And if that's what you feel is right, then there's nothing wrong about it. I don't think there's anything. There's nothing wrong with what you're thinking about doing. Now, I will tell you, if there is a significant gap, you should probably look into a prenup. I know that's a very ugly conversation to have, but if there is a significant gap in assets from one person to another, there should be some sort of protection there if that's something you worry about. Again, I'm a little bit old school in the sense that if I'm going to marry somebody, I'm marrying them for the long term, and I think that's what most people do. But I can understand that it's an ugly conversation to have. Maybe not I wouldn't even know how to get to that conversation. Maybe bringing in a professional is the correct way to go about that. But it's a tough, once you start getting into finances, it starts getting a little ugly. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with either way of doing it. For me, it's just it's just easier to have one bank account where everything goes into. That's just the simplicity is the reason why I go that route, not that anything else other than just ease. But again, nothing wrong with it. If that's what you think you need to do, then go for it. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll see you next time.